Okay, so if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're having issues trying to find exploit 2 and identify it, so that's what we're going to go over today. First off, exploit 2 has to be in Capture 2 PCAP, and the whole purpose of it is you're suspecting an attack on your Bank of Virtual database because unauthorized access has been discovered. So, first, you want to ask yourself, what might an attacker use to illegally access a web server database? This goes back to the activity that we looked at with SQL injection. So that's what we're going to base this attack off. The last one was that cross-site scripting. Now we're looking at the SQL injection. So all these activities that we've already done lead into this project. You can actually use them as a reference. So first off, I am going to open the Capture 2 PCAP. And just like we did for the first capture, we're also going to want to open that website because this is going to give us some more insight on what's actually on the page, how we can find more information rather than just looking at packets. There we go. Okay, so I have my Capture 2. I have my website. I'm just going to log in. All right, so I'm going to use keywords here again. So last time the keyword that we used was what? Does anyone remember? No? Nobody remembers what the keyword we used last time was? What was the attack one all about? It was about cross-site scripting. It was about looking at that value. It was about looking at that message. So that's how we got into that stored XSS in order to see where it was. This time, the word we're going to use is actually database. So right here, you suspect an attack on your Bank of Virtual database because unauthorized access has been discovered. So I'm going to use database as my keyword. That's the word I'm going to be looking for on here. So with that, I'm going to go through these tabs again and see if I can find anything. Oh, here we go. That says database. That's what I'm looking for. So click on the create reset database button to create or reset your database. If you get an error, make sure you have the correct user credentials and config PHP. All right, so it's just accessing that PHP file. If it already exists, it will be cleared and all the data will be reset. Okay, so backend database, we get create reset database. I'm going to click this. It's been created, user tables were created, data was inserted. Okay, so this is all the stuff that it does. So this gives me some stuff that I can look at in here to try to generalize this a little bit, I guess. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to apply that filter just like I did before for the content type. So HTTP content type. That'll narrow down my results a little bit. And then from there, I'm going to try to pull something specific from this page. Database, so user table was created. So I'm going to think about the fact of when a website accesses a web page, specifically a web page that needs a login, it's accessing a database or it's sending a query out to a database saying, okay, do you have this user? Do you have this password? So let's try user. F. So I'm going to try user. I have to do it as a string. And details. This might pop up on multiple pages though. Okay, so I got it on 40, 46, 89. So it's got a lot. All right, so let's see if I can narrow that down a little bit more. So the database, and we've seen this in previous exercises, typically references a user or a user account information as a user ID. So I'm going to try searching user ID and see if that gives me anything. Okay, 232, 265, 298. Okay, that's 3 of them. Perfect. So I'm going to start with the first one. 232. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. Vulnerable code area. All right, well, that gives me something. Scrolling through. Gives me the JavaScript. Security training site. Did I miss something here? Oh, user ID. All right. So let me try the next one. 265. Again, I got user ID, the form, input. All right, here's some more data on this one than was on the last one. So that's always kind of a red flag. If you're seeing more data than you were on a previous one that was the same type of submission, that's something to kind of look at. Okay, I got union select, null, null, null. All right, well, from a previous activity, and if you don't know which one, I'm going to show you how to find it. This word pops out to me, union select, or two words, I should say. That throws a red flag. I don't know why it throws a red flag, but it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my PLTW, and it gives you a cool feature of being able to search stuff. So I'm going to search that word, union. Oh, we got 2 hits already. Look at that, activity 231. It was in this section. Brings me right to where it was. Try another SQL exploit. Looky here, union select is going to be another SQL exploit. So, red flag is confirmed just by looking at this. The union keyword merges the result of select statement with another as long as both statements query the same number of columns. In this case, both query 4 columns. Alright, so in this exploit query, after returning the user ID 1, from the user table, the query returns exploited information in place of legitimate data. That's what I'm looking for. And this is from activity 231, so you can reference back to there, or you can look back at your activity on it. So, union select, null, null, null. So it's replacing the legitimate data with fraudulent data. That's what I'm looking for. So, pulling back up what we need to do here. We need to see, okay, because unauthorized access has been discovered, that's what we're looking for. That's the unauthorized access. Perfect. Which might an attacker use? We already did that. They're using the SQL. All right, so we have the packet. 265 is the packet that we're going to use. First step was finding the packet. Okay. Finding the data that's possibly compromised. Okay, right here. It's that login information. That's what we're looking at as data compromised. Now we need to figure out where could this have been prevented. So where is it possible that this could have been prevented on the page? So that's where we're going to go back to the web page. And I'm going to go, because it was an SQL attack, I'm going to go to SQL injection. This is that vulnerability. And I'm going to view the source and see what we have. So SQL injection source. So this is going to give me, I'm going to compare them again, just like I did in the last one. If it has high versus medium versus low. Okay, so looking at this data, it's retrieving data from the database. Once the button submit is hit, it's going to get the ID. It's going to strip the slashes. It's going to make sure it's actually accessing information it needs to. As I go down to medium, okay, it's not stripping the slashes anymore. Get ID. All right, so this shows me right here that if it was set to a low SQL injection source or low SQL injection security, that it's only going to get the ID. So I could just type in the user ID and whatever I want for the password, I could impose SQL injection on that and still get any information I wanted from it because it's going to echo, it's going to return information to me. So this is your last part of taking a screenshot of where this could be prevented. This is where it could be prevented in retrieving the data, making sure that the information that's been provided is legitimate. So when you go to write out your explanation on this, you should have a screenshot of this. You should have a screenshot of this packet, 265. A screenshot of this union select, and I want you to explain to me this union select. It is in that activity 231, just like I referenced here. If you have no idea what union select is, search union. It gives you those terms. It gives you where they've been referenced before. There is another packet in here that has similar issues to it. If you found that one instead, that's fine. Or you can use 265. Try to go find the other packet where this is. If you add that in, I will give you extra credit for this assignment as well. So 265, and there is another one with the same issue.